Welcome back to Counterculture. You are Pastor Mark. I am Andy. We talk about things that kind of go against culture.
Right.
So we had this interesting exchange. People probably think that we're only friends on video, but that's not true. We talk occasionally.
It depends on if your wife sends the check.
That's exactly right. My wife buys my friends. Then I get one for a week. So we were conversing, right? And we were talking
Via text.
And we were talking about you coming down here, and I was telling you I was only going to be here for a little bit, and then I was leaving, and then you text me back, and then I said, like, well, aren't you coming? And you're like, it's hard to be with you
when you're not there.
Right. And it hit me. It's like, well, that's very interesting. And so I sent you back like, oh, we need to talk about that with counterculture, right?
And so here we are.
Right. So I want to take maybe a pretty common view of this, but maybe from a different angle. Luke chapter 10, super familiar story, starting in verse 38 through 42. So you want to read that for me as we get ready to talk about this whole idea.
As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said, but Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her to help me." "Martha, Martha," the Lord answered, "you are worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her."
So we've heard this story a ton. We've heard it preached a whole bunch, right? But it really fits into this conversation that we're having, right? It's hard to be with you when you're not there, right? When you're not here, right? And I think sometimes that plays in to the role that Christians have in this world, right? We get so caught up, like Martha, doing Christianity or doing Christian things, right? Doing Christ-like things. And I think sometimes maybe God looks down and says, hey, it's really hard to be with you when you're not here, right? And in this moment, Jesus is looking at Martha and saying, that's all great, it's all good, but Mary's choosing what's better, just to be here.
Yeah.
Right? To be here with me. So in this world that just wants to constantly have us so busy doing stuff, right? That we don't get an opportunity always, or we don't take the opportunity to be in the moment, right? We're always looking to the next moment and the next moment and the next moment, right? Even as pastors, like it's really hard because we're preaching in a moment, but almost always looking to the next moment. Right, we're looking to, okay, well, what happens if people respond, or what happens if this? So tell me how you go about this really hard thing of just being in the moment, being at Jesus' feet, being here so people can be there with you.
Well, it is. There's a couple things that come to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
One is it's a bit of humility. And as you well know, it's my spiritual gift is humility.
Absolutely. And maybe
I won a prize for it one time, and I told everybody about it, and I had to give it back the next day. But anyway, and what I mean by that is it's realizing we're not as important as we think we are.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. We're important. I'm not going to dismiss that. You're important. I'm important. That's not what I'm saying. Is that the world does not revolve around us.
Ooh, apparently.
So that's a start, is to realize, wait a minute here, maybe I need to set aside, consider others better than I consider myself, Paul said, I think it was. And so sometimes it's just realizing, wait a minute, what is important in this moment?
Mm-hmm.
Is it really important for me to do this project, or is it more important for me to, wait a minute, this person needs my attention?
Yeah.
That is one of the things, a couple of things I should say. There's two things probably there putting that, but I think that is one of the important things I try to do is, and my wife will ask me this. She asked me this morning. She came in from work last night, and I had my phone in front of me, and I'm just playing a game, mindlessly playing a game.
Yep.
And she's kind of downloading. And now we usually have a little system in our marriage. Do you want me to listen to respond, or do you want me to just listen? You know, because if you can't, I'm gonna keep playing my game here, and I'll just you can assume
I get credit for listening.
I get credit for listening. I don't have to respond.
That's right.
And so she goes, "Are you?" She goes, are you playing a game? I said, I'm just doing, this little word game or whatever. I said, but I'm listening to you. It wasn't a big deal. And then there's other times she goes, can you put it down? And she asked for what she wants, and that's an important thing. Mm-hmm. We get mad at people because, well, they didn't put their phone down. Wait a minute, did you ask me to? Mm-hmm. Because could you, we have another thing we have in our marriage. My wife uses it in counseling situations. I do too. I need you to be B.
Yep.
A talks, B listens.
Yep.
So what that means is she'll say to me, I need you to be B. That means the phone comes down, everything, and she has my undivided attention. Uh-huh. Here's the other one that gets me. When my ding, I get a notification on my phone.
Yep.
And I've had my barber ask me this one time, do you need to take that? I said, no. I said, I'm on your time. I'm paying you to cut my hair. I'm here. What if this is a half-hour call? Now No. How about we decide, do I really have to respond to this right now? Here's an amazing thing that I have had happen. I have gotten to a store or somewhere. I left my phone home. I start going into this little mild anxiety attack. And then I realized, wait a minute here. I used to not have a cell phone, and I didn't even take it with me, and I survived. Here's the thing: is when we realize, you know what? I'll get to that when I come home. What is really important to me right now? Same thing. I love that thing I've seen on Facebook. You go to a restaurant, everybody stacks their phones.
Yeah.
And the first one who answers their phone or a text pays.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And then. And I heard a dad do this one time. We were sitting there as a group, and his son was with him, and he kept saying to his son, "You're with people. Put your phone down. You're with people. Put your phone down. You're with people.
Yep.
People matter. You know what? Your text can wait. Your phone call can wait. Now, if my wife calls, and if she knows I'm in a meeting, she doesn't call me. But if it rings twice, she calls me 2 times in a row. Mm-hmm. I say, she's calling me because there's a reason she's calling me.
Yep.
I don't, and we have. If I know she's with someone, I don't call her unless I absolutely have to. Mm-hmm. It's called respect.
Yep.
It's called respect, and being attentive to the person right in front of you is a great compliment to that person that says, "I value you."
Well, and again, I think I love what you just said there, because there's the physical presence idea.
Yes.
I can't be with you if you're not there. But there's also the mental idea now, right? There are a lot of people where we're sitting together, but we're not really there.
Yeah.
Right? We're not. So
every Sunday when we're preaching,
yeah, there's a lot of people who are not there.
They're there, but they're not there.
Yep, and it's hard. It makes it hard, right? So Martha is in the very same house, probably the same room area that Mary and Jesus are, right? And yet she's not there with Jesus.
And look what she does. She says, she's not helping me. She makes it all about the one who's actually doing the right thing.
That's right.
Which is spending time with Jesus. So when people say, well, I just don't hear from the Lord, and I love this meme, if you don't feel close to God, it's not because he moved. It's because you moved.
That's right. That's right.
But we want God to meet us where we're at and do everything we want, which he will. Jesus always meets us where we're at. But he also is like, okay, you're not interested right now, so I'm moving on. Yeah. And when you are, I'm here.
Yeah.
But in the meantime.
Yeah, I love it because one of the things that I say at funerals all the time, and even at weddings and places like that, is thanks for blessing us with the ministry of your presence.
Yes.
Thanks for being there. But again, there are people who are at funerals who aren't really there. Mm-hmm. People who are at church service who aren't really there, right? Jesus, when he blesses us with the ministry of his presence, like you just said, he's always there.
Yes.
Right? It's are we there? And I can imagine him, like as soon as you texted me that, I could imagine Jesus saying that to me. It's hard to be with you.
Yes.
When you're not there, right?
Yeah.
It's like that is such a relevant statement. I think there are a lot of moments in my life where God's like, hey, you're asking me to be with you, but it's really hard when you're not here. Right? You're not looking to me, you're not listening for me, you're not You're not doing any of the things that you need to do. You're far away.
You will find me when you seek me with all your heart, Jesus says.
Exactly.
So Terry Wardle was the director of my doctoral program, and he had a wonderful phrase that he taught us and concept that he taught us. And I use it a lot, and I've used it enough that I can say it's mine, but I'll give Terry Wardle credit still. Praying that we may become more present to Jesus. And I will tell people that. Oh, yeah, I want Jesus to be more present to me. No. That's not what was said.
Nope.
But isn't that about us? That is about our carnality.
It's how we are.
It's here. I want Jesus to just pay attention to me. See me, Jesus. See me. He sees you. Trust me. He sees you.
Yeah.
Do you see him?
Yeah.
Are you more present? And what that means is, and in my doctoral program, it was about positioning people to become, and not like, here, I'm going to move you here. Helping people get into a place where they can come into the presence of Christ and experience him. Yeah. And we need to do that with people. That's why I don't like doing Zoom counseling sessions, whether it's I'm the one being counseled or I'm counseling someone else, because I can read body language. I can tell if you're really
involved,
engaged or not. You might be looking at me, but you might be like bouncing your leg or whatever. There's things that, and I understand that we can't always do that. But to really become and experience the people. I'm fascinated by body language, people. It's just interesting to me. Yeah. But and you can tell, you and I can tell when people are checked out when we're preaching.
Not just because they're sleeping.
Yeah. And then they come to you and say, "That was a good sermon, Pastor. Really? What did you like about it?" All of it. No. You didn't listen, did you?
Could you tell me my second point?
Yeah, really. Yeah. So
I think I love what you just said. It reminds me of the story of the prodigal son, right? We keep preaching this. Jesus is everywhere with us. That's true to some degree, but the story is really clear that Jesus, the Father wasn't in, right? The Father wasn't in the pig pen with him, right? And that's how he recognized, right? Like, hey, I need to understand and remember who my Father is.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that, again, sometimes the idea of being here is that we're in a spot where we need to recognize, man, where am I? Mm-hmm. Why am I not where I'm supposed to be? Why am I not in this moment like I'm supposed to be?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you think about also in the garden when God says to Adam, "Where are you?" Yeah. It's not like he didn't know where they were at.
I love that.
I think there was more to that where he was saying, "Where are you?
Yeah,
you're not with me."
Exactly. There's division between us.
Yes, there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're not attentive, and I think that going back to summarizing, it's intentionality, and we have to decide today: do I want to be with God in this moment, and not just I had my devotions this morning. That's not what I'm talking about. Although those are important. Do we see Christ in every all of our activities?
Yeah. Yep.
Do we see him in these moments here? Or am I going to leave today from these recordings saying, well, I'll leave Jesus back there because Andy needs him worse than I do, and I'm going to get my car.
True statement.
That is the beautiful thing of the omnipresence, is that he is with us, but are we with him? And that is really the question. Are we with him?
See, that's so in the story, right? Martha was with Jesus, but not with him.
And what does it say? She was distracted.
Yep.
And what keeps me from Christ as I get distracted? It's funny on the Myers-Briggs. I took it, and I'm an ENFP, and Dr. Wardle had given us a little sheet that said how each different combination prays, and the way my combination prays is, Lord, help me stay focused. Did you see that bird? and I do pray that way. It's funny, but here's what's beautiful is God knows that.
Yep.
And he's like, yep, there goes Mark. Over here, Mark, over here. He's got to do that. Mark, what? Come on, over here.
I'm in the bird, Mark. Yes. The bird is me.
Yeah, the bird is me. Yeah. I made the bird. Mark. I made the bird. Yeah, so come back.
Thanks for acknowledging the bird. Love it. Oh, that's a great place to end this counterculture. Hoping that you're thinking differently, that you are actually with God today, that you're actually here. It's hard to be with you when you're not here. Is God saying that to you today? Think about that. Chew on that. We'll see you next time. Counter Culture.
Grace and peace.